I'm not going to thank my husband for putting a new trash bag into the trash can. I'm not going to thank him for putting his clothes in the hamper. I'm not going to thank him for unloading the dishwasher. I'm not going to thank him for changing a diaper. I'm not going to thank him for cleaning a toilet. I'm not going to thank him for making the bed. I'm not going to thank him for doing any of the things that just come with living in a house. Like, if he would have to do it, if I didn't live here, like if he lived by himself and that was still a required task, I'm not saying thank you. That is just part of existing in a functioning home.
I'm not sure where this line of thought came from, that if we say thank you or show any type of gratitude, that we are enabling lazy men and that we will end up receiving less. Ladies, that is not how men work. And could you imagine if a man took the same line of thought and he decided he would no longer praise you for caring for your children, for making dinner, or for doing housework? Men are results driven, which is why gratitude, even for the small things, goes a long way.
Living with her is like living alone, but with extra work. You don't have to thank him because his new wife definitely will.
I just tried going on a blind date and I was extremely humbled. Extremely humbled. As soon as I walk up, this man is drinking a glass of wine. I'm like, oh, hi. He's like, he follows me and I've met him one other time before. So it wasn't completely blind date, but we had never when I sit down, he's like, I'm sorry, this is awkward, but this isn't it for me. And I'm like, no, it's not awkward. That's fine. Like, I get it. Sometimes you can feel right off the bat. I'm just curious, what is the reason? Like, what energy did I bring that made you so quickly be like, oh, no. But I'm like, I get it too. Sometimes I feel that energy and I respect you being like, this isn't it. He says, you don't look like the last time I saw you or your pictures on Instagram. I have the beauty filter on right now, but I do not face tune my pictures. When I upload pictures on my stories, I put like the Paris filter on, but like, to me, like, sorry, beauty filter off. Like, I don't think I look that different.
We have to talk about this because I genuinely think that it is a very good sign that this man that she went out on a date with was able to be completely honest. In person, she was simply not his type. He wasn't attracted to her. She was this close to really understanding it because she was very open and honest about what he said and the fact that she does use a beauty filter on her videos. This is a very real risk that ladies are taking when they only put out there a filtered version of themselves. But she kind of misses the mark when she starts going down the path of saying that she doesn't really look that different. That is actually what is in the eye of the beholder. You might not think that you look that different, but what I do appreciate is that she didn't bash the guy like a lot of women would. My advice, ladies, is don't always put out a filtered version of yourself, because as long as that man has seen your true self, he's pretty clear cut on whether or not he's attracted to you or not, and he's not going to waste his or your time.
If she didn't look all that different, she wouldn't use filters in the first place.
When a woman says that you're controlling, toxic, insecure for not wanting your girl to go party 4 or 5 nights a week and get drunk and put herself in these sorts of situations, that's basically essentially just shaming language. You're trying to shame men out of using our masculine instincts to keep her out of positions that put the relationship at risk. There's absolutely no reason that a man should allow his girlfriend to put the relationship at risk. And I do think it's the case that if you're going out and partying and getting drunk and being around these kinds of people in these kinds of environments, you are putting your relationship at risk.
Ladies, I hope you listen to this because the bottom line is, if you want to look single and act single and go out and do single things, you're welcome to do that. But then you're going to be single because you are putting the relationship at risk. You're disrespecting your spouse, their relationship, and yourself by doing it. Brian is 100% correct with the way that he sees it, and he found a way to articulate this in as much as a neutral manner as possible.
Say there's a woman in a room with 10 men, and all 10 men are telling her how beautiful she is and how amazing she is, and they're lighting her cigarette and buying her drinks and just treating her like gold. Then, all of a sudden, in walks the 11th man. He takes one look at her and says, hey, how you doing? Turns his back on her and starts talking to his boys. That's the guy she wants to be with, the 11th man. Not any of the 10 men who were treating her well all night, but the one guy who couldn't care less. And why? Because for some reason, women don't want nice. They don't want real. They don't want to be treated well. I mean, not at first and sometimes not ever. And I think that's crazy. And I refuse to play that game. I mean, you are a master at it, Sal. But it's just not me, it's not who I am. I don't want to have to play that game, get a girl by pretending that I don't like her. I want to be with a woman who's real, who digs it when I'm nice to her, who doesn't see that as weakness or take me for granted when I tell her that I think she's more amazing than anything else in the entire world.
I've never heard a woman say he is too mean, only he's too nice.
Does that make sense for you as far as like why divorce is inherently more risky for men?
I just feel like you're saying because women tend to be the person who initiates a divorce, correct?
Yes.
That's why it's riskier for men. But why do women tend to end divorces? With successful men that have money, they cheat.
She said it earlier.
They do all these things that women don't want to put up with.
She said it earlier. It's
so
a feeling.
why?
Feelings change from day to day.
Yeah. So I could have been in love with the person at the moment, but if that person is no longer treating me well just because we're married, I have to say no.
That's the point.
Because he can't be a good husband.
So as a man,
that's all I'm asking.
If I marry you and you decide, you know what, he's not the guy I thought he was anymore, I'm leaving. You take half my stuff, and maybe.
So is there no risk without reward?
So what?
You married me, right?
No. So once again, this is why
you wanted to marry me.
Don't want to get married.
You loved me enough that it would be worth it to you to marry me and take the risk.
Hold on, stop the show. You just basically admitted it with your own words. Why guys don't get married?
My parents have been married since '87. I can tell you my dad had a few bad years after being fired from the police force. They were struggling to make ends meet. My mom made 3 meals every day with a hug and a kiss. Eventually, Pop started a business and we got everything back. Mom's loyalty never wavered and neither did Dad's grit. That's marriage.
I just think marriage is an L. In today's day and age, I mean, there's obviously the tradition component if you're religious, but when it comes to the government involvement and the potential financial ramifications of having to unwind a marriage, it does not make sense. So don't get married, guys. Don't do it. You do, but you could have a life partner, for example, but you don't need the government involved.
Exactly
in that.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
And fully want the whole white picket fence. We are husband and wife, but I just don't feel the need to go and sign some paper that lets them know that we are.
Yep.
Marriage is not love or commitment. It is a financial contract. Don't let anyone tell you differently. When a woman wants a ring on that finger, it is for security.
With your sameness and fairness thing, to be honest with you, it kind of sounds to me like you want equality as long as it's benefiting women, but when it's not benefiting women and men can take the brunt of it, you're like, that's cool. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. How do you see that?
Well, I mean, if we lived in like a properly feminist world, there wouldn't be affirmative action initiatives to put more women in positions of like workplace positions and in academic positions. If we had a truly equal world, women, like I said, would get drafted into the military. Like, I think if feminists want to truly fight for equality, it's like, put your money where your mouth is. But if you only want equality when it's benefiting you, then it's not. You don't actually want equality. You just want a world that benefits women more often.
Clear reasoning will always befuddle those who think like a feminist.
There's no incentive for women to behave well through the course of a divorce at all, the way the laws are written. Legal professionals that I've talked to in the past will tell you flat out, you do not want to go to court. You want to try to resolve this out of court, because if you have a penis, you're going to lose. When things like parental alienation get very bad, what usually ends up happening is if the guy is lucky, he might get to see his kids and he gets to see how effective his ex-wife is at brainwashing his kids into hating him and taking all of his money and doing whatever she wants with it, and he has no say.
Absolutely correct. In addition to what Rich said, choose your state very wisely before you file that divorce paperwork, gentlemen.
All that work and what did it get me?
Yep, because newsflash, honey, we've been lied to. Men don't want porn stars. They want women that can control themselves. Thank you.
You don't need to sleep with a 100+ guys to figure out how to satisfy a future husband. That is the dumbest excuse for sleeping around I have ever heard. Thanks for watching Sigma Traits. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything.